and a flat. So that's why myself prefers the brisket flat. Basically uniform in thickness across all edges. Now, I prefer a left-handed brisket. And some people say, what? Well, how many people out there are left-handed? How many are right-handed? Most people are right-handed. Cows, dogs are both left-handed and right-handed. So, when a cow lays down, because this brisket muscle is basically laying in between their arms in the front and their breast. They lay on one side. When they get up, one muscle works more than the other. Most cows are right-handed, just like people and dogs. Don't believe me? Look at your dog, which way it lays down. So, the most important part when you're purchasing a brisket, by my own experience, is you buy a brisket flat. There's no point, but this wide end is called a point, even though the pointy end is called the flat, because of that fat layer and the other muscle on top. The flat has already been removed. So, here we go. I prefer the left-handed brisket. So, you see the fat side, you see the meat side. So, with the flat side, the skinny part, sort of a little opposite, the wide side, called the point, because at one time there was a point muscle attached to it. So, fat side down, the muscles should curve to the right. Now you might have to stare down in there, but you see a little bit of sinew. These muscles are all rolling to the right. That makes it a left-handed brisket. Now, it may have come from a left-handed cow, perhaps, but like people, most people are right-handed. Now, if you want to go to the store and bring a thermometer and lay out all the briskets that are left-handed, make sure they get to the same temperature, you could do the flex. How flexible is it inside the pack? Well, if you had a left-handed cow, this muscle wouldn't be so flexible. But temperature of the meat has a lot to do with it. So if they're all stacked up, hard to tell. But I always go with the left-handed brisket, and it has not failed me yet. What a lovely piece of beef. So, there it is. Left-handed brisket. Now, being that it is cryo-packed, being that it's been suction packed into a bag with no air, my suggestion is that you age this piece of meat wet cure. Now, occasionally when you age the high dollar steakhouses, they're unwrapped, set at certain temperature, certain humidity. That's a dry age. Cryo-packed, wet aged. From your purchase date, 4 to 6 weeks. After that 6 week, time to get it on the smoke. In preparations of that, putting on the smoke, I prefer a rub. Southside Market. Original barbecue. Elgin, Texas. Folks that know brisket, I swear by it. Matter of fact, that's how much I swear by it. Oh, being true. 4 to 6 weeks, release the beast. Give it a nice massage and a rub down with a good dry rub. Let it sit overnight in your refrigerator. Then it's time to light the fire. When it's time to light the fire, I prefer 250 degrees. Let it sit and stabilize at 250 degrees for at least an hour. Meantime, the meat has been set out after being rubbed the day before. So it's basically room temperature. Then put it to the grill. Now, funny thing about a brisket is, it'll pick up temperature and pick up temperature till you hit about 150 degrees thereabout. Then all of a sudden, it just stops. Call that the stall. Then it might take you 2, 3, maybe 4 hours to come out the stall. Then the temperature of the meat starts rising again. When it gets to 180 degrees internal temperature, which I just happen to use, not necessarily Insta-Read, but I use a horizontal smoker. I could lift the lid and give her a stab. See what it looks like. I'm at the stall, comes out the stall. Well, then I'm in the break. Temperature starts rising again. And I'll keep poking that piece of meat there about every half hour till it reaches 180 degrees. At that point, I say to myself, time to put it on the Texas crutch. Texas crutch is, well, I use a turkey pan. Take the meat right directly off the smoke, which only takes the smoke for about 4 or 5 hours. After that, it's just the heat. But the important thing is to maintain that 250 degrees throughout the whole process. Pull it, slide it to the pan, cover it tight cover with aluminum foil from 180 to 190. At that point, you are done. But the thing about the crutch is, you have to have a little bit of moisture in there. I myself use a little bit of beer, a little bit of ketchup, a little bit of onion, whatever else you have laying around the house. Is that a steam cook it to its complete tenderness. But at 190 degrees, pull it off. Let it rest for about 20 minutes and commence the slicing. Now you might have an electric knife. You might have a high-dollar German knife like I do. That's the way I prefer to do it. Nice and thin. I'm telling you. Well, that's it about purchasing a left-handed brisket and how to cook it. Depending on how conscious you are about maintaining the temperature or what type of smoker you got, but guaranteed to have a good time. Now maybe, just maybe, further down the road a couple of years, I might even teach you about my finishing sauce. But I'm not up to do that right now. So until then, y'all have a hidey-ho tack barbecue and do the brisket. Black and Blue Man, signing off.